Yeah, I should have been recording the whole time I was playing with this. So, because it's interesting, just to play with the mic sometimes. Pause, yo. All right, no, but seriously. So I just went through the different gender sounds. Let me see this. I cranked this one up all the way. I don't like that. I didn't like this either. I decided I'm just gonna keep it narrow, keep it simple. Hold on one second. Right there, narrow's the way. All right, moving on. Hard tune style is going to be. Let's see what music sounds like. Let me go back. I don't even know. I don't even care about any of that right now. So yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, no. Let me check that out actually, because it's some interesting stuff in that. I don't know how to crank it up though. Here we go. Let's see. So pushing on the hard tune. All right, narrow. We at 70 right now. Let me see if I take that down to 0. If I take it down to 0, I got nothing. So there is no hard tune. 50. All right, hold on. Let me go back to 70. I'm going to leave it right there for now. Rate 20. Take it up. Let's see. 98, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know. What did I say? 20? Keep it there. I just trust this thing has good settings. I'm not gonna freak with it too much. Window, take it up. Let's see. 600, nothing crazy. I'm not an audio engineer. I'm just playing with the different sounds, seeing if I can. Damn, what I say was that 600? I don't even remember. I'm just gonna keep it down at like 120, whatever. It is what it is. It's at 126, so frick it. Let me see the amount of hard tune. Let's take it down. Let's see. That sounds a little more direct. I don't know how to describe it. It sounds different. So let's see the rate. It was at a 20. So let's take it up and see. 100. I don't know. Frick it. Take it back down. Back down to a 20. Ooh, shucks. All right, let me take this up to a 50. Hold on, let me see something. Try this over here. I'm just gonna leave that right there for right now. All right, so that's taking it back off. Wait a minute. This is hard tune on. I gotta take that down. That's too robotic. Yeah, the amount, I might crank it up to like a 10. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Take it to a 10. Check. That sounds pretty good. All right, hard tune rate. Let's see, 20. Let's go up right quick. Ooh. I just heard something. I just heard a change. I like that. Let's take it down. Check. Yeah, check doesn't work. Like actual real time speaking, check doesn't work for me. I don't know how they used to check mics back in the day with the whole check thing. Like I got to hear phrases and sentences, and I got to hear in real time what it's actually going to sound like. Otherwise, I can't get it right. Same way I play music, yo. Anyhow, window. Let's see. Let's go all the way down. Nah, let's go up. 6. Let's see, 1. Let's see, 4. All right. Yeah, this one here, I think I'm gonna leave that off. I think I'm gonna take the rate back down as well. It's not gonna be much in this hard tune. Matter of fact, I don't even like the hard tune, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm not liking it right now. So I'm just gonna leave everything alone and turn it off. I'm not even gonna bother with it. Yeah, I like the natural sound. Oh, but you know what? Oh, wait. There's a source, hard tune source, music. Ah, shoot. Yeah, that's stuff for gaming. That has nothing to do with anything I'm doing right now. All right, so I'm not gonna save any of these settings, so it doesn't matter. Just playing with the settings right now. So where we at? Oh, here we go. Big Verb, comms radio. Yeah, that's my joint. Yeah, the comms radio. All right, go back to the Big Verb. So this is setting number 1. And this is setting number 2. I don't know that I can. Well, let me see if I can improve this any. Let's see. Reverb. We added a reverb. That reverb sounds tough. Like a little bit. Yeah, it gives it some punch. I'm just gonna add like a 1%. That's it. Yeah, like a 1% of the reverb. I like that. Echo. I don't know if I want to add. Nah, hell no. That'll make it all kind of distorted. The reverb already probably does. Right, so narrow, 0. Let's take it.
Shit, it's like a spoon shaped. I like that. That's tough. Take it all the way up. Alright, that is some extreme chipmunk gerbil sounds right there. Like, I should have been using this. It's so much that can be done with this thing. Let me see. Let's take this back down. Hold on. There's something, the reverb. I don't need any reverb. I need just straight direct. Alright, so let's go back to natural, normal, narrow. And I actually kind of like this. I used this in an earlier podcast. I like this. Yeah. I like this, yo. Let's see. I kind of want this for one of my settings. You know what? I'm going to keep this.
This is hard tune music. Because it deals with music, I'm not gonna mess with it.
Yeah, I don't want that for number 5. Actually, I want to keep this for number 5. Oh, let me see if I can reassign number 5.
I don't even know how to do all that. Okay, so number 5 is now Tom's Radio 2. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, that joint looks ghetto. All right, let's see if it'll let me switch between Comms Radio
and Comms Radio 2. So, Comms Radio, I want to keep that one
natural, normal, right there. I'm not gonna do too much with that. Now, number 5.
Comms Radio 2. How the frick did Kid Robot become number 4? It is what it is. I don't care. I'm not gonna ever use it. All right, so this one, I'm gonna mess with this one a little bit, yo. So gender, I definitely want to take that down a little bit, like some Keep Sweat type joint. Yeah, like right there, a Quiet Storm type joint. Yeah. Wide. No, that's too big. That's too fat. I might do a fat boy, but for this, I think I want to keep it up. You know what? Let me narrow that out a little bit more. Yeah, narrow that out. Let me see if I can. No, I don't like that. That's too. Hold on 1 second. That's too unnatural, yo. That's too much bass. You know what I mean? Let me take it up. So the narrow amount, it's way up now. That don't sound right. That don't sound right. Medium. Yeah, we'll go with medium. Medium punch. Medium. Yeah, that should work. All right. Megaphone style. On the phone. Let's see what on the phone. Overdrive. Buzz cut. Let me see. Tweed. Let me see what overdrive. Overdrive 50 and 2 dB. 50 if I take it up to 100. If I take it down to 0, it all sounds the same. 50. Post gain. Oh, I like the post gain. Yeah, crank that up some. All right. Robot. I'm not using robot. All of that, it doesn't matter anymore. So I'm not using echo. Reverb. I'm not using reverb. Let me see. Check. Actually, I think I will use some reverb on this one only because it's a more punchy voice. And I like that punchy voice. That joint sounds hard. All right, Tank.
Let's see. Oh, this is nice, yo. Ooh. I like this one. Oh my, you know what? Maybe it's just the adjustment, the back and forth from where I was to where I am now that makes this that much sweeter. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is sometimes. You got to get away to miss and appreciate that something or that someone, whatever the case is, and then you get back to it and it's like, yes, yo. In both ways. All right, let me stop. I like this, yo. I think this is going to be it. I'm not even going to mess with anything on this one. I'm just going to trust the process, trust that this one is tight. And yeah, I definitely apologize for the sound check. The mic. You know what? It doesn't even matter, yo. This is a mic check. You know what I mean? This ain't no, I'm just going to put it out there for me so I can remember these settings and what I did and everything. Because I got a damn stuffy nose right now. My joint don't even sound right. So I need my little Vicks inhaler. Where the frick is my Vicks inhaler? Hold on 1 second. All right, I feel better. All right, so now I'm going to try mic settings. Done. Mic stand settings. So I'm gonna work on that. See, all right, yeah, that'll work. It is what it is. I ain't gotta be right up on it, but I ain't gotta be too far away. So it works. Yeah. So where am I at? 10 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. You know what? Frick it. I'm just gonna be unapologetically me. And it's like that's like the hardest thing to do is to be unapologetically you. It's not impossible. All right. I'm not saying it's impossible because sometimes we get lost in semantics, but it is tough. It really is because, like, I'll be honest, me, like even recording a podcast, me being unapologetically me, I fumble my words, when I speak. I don't always articulate every last letter. It's like, it's easy to sound like it when I go on record, but to do it in real time, I couldn't do it in real time. There's too much that, I couldn't, it's hard to desire to put out a podcast that's unapologetically me. You know what I mean? But that's what gets the most respect is someone I realize that now because I'm getting to a point more and more where I only respect people who are unapologetically themselves. And not that I don't respect people, but when I say I respect, like I'll adopt that person into my friendship circle or into my life because that's the type of person I desire to be. So it's like, why would I want to adopt more of the people that aren't like me or aren't trying to go in the same direction I'm trying to move in? My bad. But yeah, it's hard. And I'm just going to have to put this one out, like no edits, none of that. Like put it out as I feel it. Because if I let it sit overnight, if I think about it, I'm going to go back and listen and I need to correct this and I need to correct that and try and make this thing perfect. And my boy said something to me recently that was so real. He said, listen, man, if you try and portray this perfect image and people wind up buying into it and you blow up as a result of it, then you're going to have to work triple hard to maintain that because that's not truly who you are. Basically, it's easier just to be yourself unapologetically, and whoever accepts you, accepts you. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. You know what I mean? Those that don't accept you, you don't need them in your life. The reason why they don't accept you is because they themselves aren't willing to be unapologetically themselves. That's not the case for all, but that's the case for many. Some won't accept you because they've been unapologetically themselves for years. All right. And it's not that they don't frick with you. It's that they can't frick with you in this season you're in because it would frick them up. You know what I mean? It would to some degree diminish some of their progress. I get it. Because I'm the same way. You know what I mean? I frick with people moving in the same direction I'm moving in. No, they don't have to think the same thoughts I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to be chasing the same goals, but it's a rhythm. Like you could just recognize rhythms when you just sit in silence and sit alone and study yourself for a long period of time. And in studying yourself, begin to pick up how you and other people mimic a lot of the same rhythms. You could predict this stuff. Like, it's so true, There's so much power going deep within your mind, deep within yourself, like really studying yourself. Because you learn a lot. Then you start playing these little games when you interact with other people, like purposely changing the inflection of your voice or purposely, speaking in a certain way. It's like you play politics, but you're a master of politics. And you never let other people know. Hold on, I'm getting too deep. See, I'm doing it already. A lot of times I'll start speaking recklessly because I'm like, frick it. Whatever I say, I can always go back and edit. And yeah, what my boy said was, I respect that. It's so true. It's a lot easier because I've tried it before. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to maintain an image like everyone else. You got to work double hard, sometimes triple hard, to maintain that image. It's a lot easier just to accept where you are in that current moment, knowing that everything you desire is on its way. All right. It comes at the same rate of speed you move towards it. It's not going to be any faster. And without getting too, I guess, politically correct, for lack of a better term at the moment. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Whatever. Yeah, I overthought. That happens to me a lot. Now, overthinking for me leads to short circuiting. Like, it's like my mind temporarily short circuits. I don't want to have too many of those moments. I've listened to doctors recently, holistic doctors. And I'm into, for me, no disrespect. No disrespect towards other doctors. I respect all doctors, but I prefer holistic doctors because I just feel like those methods are, if it's free, it's for me. But not free in the sense like somebody's just handing it over. Free in like, if I thoughts are gifts. All right, I'm going into podcast mode. But for real, thoughts are gifts. Like, I realize that for myself. That's my reality. Thoughts are gifts. New thoughts don't just come. Like, I got to do something different to gain those new thoughts. So I talk about physical activity a lot because for me, that's one of the things I've noticed that really produces like insane new thoughts. When I say insane, like thoughts I never thought before that changed the entire trajectory of my life. I'm like, oh shoot, if I go into a gym or if I do some type of physical activity and I push myself like beyond what I know to be failure, and I keep telling myself like, yo, you got another one in you, and I keep going until I have absolutely nothing left. Like, I've honestly, not because I'm tired and I want the convenience of rest, but like I legit don't have it. For everybody, that level's different. And I notice every time I push that level more, like I get stronger mentally, I get stronger physically, and I love when I got these alpha clowns that approach me with this mindset of like, yeah, I'm the best at everything kind of thing. And they're like, I could beat you at this, I could beat you at that, I could do, and they've never seen me perform because I don't feel the need to prove myself. I got nothing to prove to anybody, except for on the podcast. I want that to sound perfect. No, but seriously, I want to, like my boy convicted me, and he said, listen, man, you want to be unapologetically you. You do not want to make it being a fake, because then you've always got to keep up with that lifestyle. And I think that's why some famous people, some people that have quote unquote made it, they lose themselves. They got to escape with the drugs or with the whatever means they use to escape. It's because I know for me personally, I hate to politic. I hate to have to politic. On my job, I don't politic. And I know my job is getting sick of my ace. You know what I mean? I've been self-employed for 6 years, but I just went back to working recently. And it's hard to go back to working after having been self-employed, because as a self-employed individual, it's all on me. Like, my family eats if I go out and get it. And my family been eating good at me being self-employed, But the work though don't come as much when you raise your prices, and when life in general is in a more recess season, prices going up on everything. Like people start counting their coins in them low moments. It's part of life, yo. But yeah, it's hard to go back to being an employee because I know the level I had to grow to as a self-employed individual. So whatever company I work for, whatever I do, I'm going to do it to the level of greatness. Now, it might not be greatness from your perspective, but I know within myself it's great. Let me give you an example. I'm doing fiber right now. I'm a fiber optic installer, right? So I'm installing fiber in people's houses. I've done cable before. I've done it for many years. Cable was the gateway from working at Walmart, working at the hospital as as a CNA and working as an X-ray technician, like all this stuff that I went to school for that I didn't really want to do this crap. It was just the motive was money, Hey, this stuff will get you money. You know what I'm saying? You start here, then you move up to here, and that was the standard. There was never an example of like you develop skills and then you can monetize those skills, and then it's a different stress being self-employed because the stress is, it's not really stress. It's more exhaustion than anything. Exhaustion outweighs the stress. So it's kind of like fasting, how when you get those hunger pains, you got two different types of hunger pains. You got the physical pains, which are easier to get over. Then you got the psychological hunger pains where you start lusting for food, for certain foods. If you've never fasted for 72 hours or more than 48 hours, try fasting for 48 hours. Your relationship with food will change drastically. All right. You'll start lusting food so much to where you'll notice details in the food that you didn't notice before. Like it's crazy. You'll notice the details in the taste of a tomato if you like tomatoes. How it's got like a sort of a hint of a sour sweet juice to it, but like you'll just notice these little details and how your mind connects to these details when you eat these foods. Yeah, where was I going with that? Anyhow, I can get lost on a topic and lost in thought. I don't remember what I was saying now. So yeah, it's hard. It was hard for me to go back to being an employee after having been self-employed, y'all. I'm just gonna tell the story right quick, y'all. It was, y'all. And I know these dudes get on I know I get on these dudes' nerves, but I look at business different now. Like I look at me being hired by a company, it's like, okay, you're willing to pay me this much to do this job. All right. Now that's not the price I set up. That wasn't my standard. I didn't pick that price. That's what you're willing to pay me. So I will do this job for that price, but you got to understand, you're not getting all the bells and whistles for that price. I love when these customers say, they don't say it anymore because some of these customers, they'll say, oh, it's what they say, it's free installation. It's free installation. If they want custom work, like for me, an attic crawl is custom work. You know what I'm saying? If it's not necessary, certain things to me are custom work. If I got to do, regardless, I'm not going to get into semantics right now, but I will, these customers, oh, it's free installation. Yeah, it is free installation. But like all free installation, you don't get the top tier bells and whistles. When people buy these new homes, I won't say the names of the homes because I don't want to get in trouble, but these mainstream homes that a lot of people are buying, the cookie cutter homes, come in nice subdivisions where all the houses, they look like family. Like, oh yeah, that house relates to that house. That house relates. You could tell it's the same builder. Sorry. I had to get my vape pen, my Vicks pen. That's why I don't vape, but I'm talking about my Vicks pen. I don't know why. It's a vapor pen. Anyhow, yeah, them cookie cutter house neighborhoods. What was I saying? They try and upsell you sometimes on like the granite countertops and stuff. It's like, yeah, yo, you want the basic house, at this price, it's going to come with the Formica countertops. You're going to get regular square shaped tiles, or I don't know what they're doing now, but they got the basic package and then they got the top tier package. And, I'm looking at the granite they put in these houses and how much more they're charging some of these companies for the granite. And it's not even the top tier granite. It's level 1 granite. It's basic. Got specs in it. I'm like, damn, yo, they dinging them over the head and people are paying this stuff because they don't know. It's a new house. So it looks lush, you know what I'm saying, on the front end. It's like, yo, everything's brand new, So similar to relationships, everything is lush. Everything is brand new in the beginning. Butterflies, all that good stuff. But let that honeymoon phase pass by. Let the first 2 years pass by. David Goggins talked about this regarding, what do you say, employment, just like I was talking about just a minute ago. He said, you get that new job and 90 days later, the interview you is over. All right. Out the door, gone. And the real you starts to surface. And that was me, yo. I got this job, and well, you know what? I was honest from the beginning, though. I told this dude from the beginning. He said, listen, We require you to work Saturdays. I said, listen, no disrespect. I can't commit to Saturdays. All right, I get it, man. You got stuff going on, but can you maybe do like 1 week on, 1 week off, 2 weeks on? And at the time, there wasn't many guys, so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And he's like, then, later on, as we get new guys, they could work Saturday. You won't have to. Cool. I get that. You know what I mean? Seniority, you get more respect, more perks. You've been there longer. It's like, you got a solid worker. You want to keep them, so you give them that respect. This is something I learned being self-employed, hiring certain people. Hiring people being self-employed is just like the game Grand Theft Auto, where when you go to do the heist, you got the different levels of what do they call them? Damn, yo, I'm losing my train of thought. But you got the different tiers of specialists. You know what I'm saying? You got your low tier guys that are likely to get shot and killed off one shot, and likely to get caught by the cops, whatnot, whatever the case is. Then you got your middle tier, then you got your high tier. Okay, I've hired guys from each tier, and the pay and the expectation, all that is different. All right. The first good employee I hired, this dude I was like, actually, it wasn't even me that hired him. It was another handyman who at the time, he was like a mentor to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just getting in this. I'm at the point I'm pulling jobs and stuff, pulled a big job, and I'm having him help me. And he hired a guy, and the dude was phenomenal. I was like, yo, where's your boy? Yo, we need him again. Like, he hired this dude. This dude was so great. I paid this dude what I felt was reasonable. And then the dude that hired him, he was like, why'd you pay him? I had already paid him. Like, oh, well, yo, that dude was phenomenal. So he got paid double, unbeknownst to me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even ask the dude had he paid the guy, but unbeknownst to me, the dude got paid double. And also, and it didn't bother me because I'm like, yo, we need him, yo. That cat was phenomenal, yo. We need him. Tried to get him back the next week. He had already got hired on with a company. I was like, yeah, yo, you good people ain't going to be around for long. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're not getting respected or if they're not getting fed at their current place, whatever that place is, relationship, place of employment, and, insert whatever you want for place, but whatever that place is, whatever that situation is, they're not likely to stay long, because good people, good workers are workers of respect, workers that have and regard a high level of respect. And they firstly regard a high level of respect for themselves. I tell my coworkers all the time, yo, I respect the job. I respect the company. I just respect me more. No disrespect. You know what I'm saying? I just respect me more. Y'all, I came in, there was these expectations. Now y'all have raised the expectations, but haven't raised the pay. Okay. That sounds to me like a reduction in an expectation from me. You're not going to get double the energy that you're willing to pay from me. You're going to get the bare minimum. The bare minimum is you can always guarantee the job's going to get done. You can always guarantee it's going to get done right. You know what I'm saying? I may not be on time according to your standards, but according to my standards, I'm on time. We got 2-hour time window. So if I'm as long as I'm within that time window, I'm on time. I keep my van clean, everything neat and immaculate. They gave me a raise after the first 90 days. Big dog called. He said, listen, man, loving the work you do, man. Raise. Cool. And here's the thing. I know because being in business for myself, I've been at the top. All right. I've been the one to hire people. And again, going back to the hiring, shoot, I hired a dude that was equally as knowledgeable as me. He wants half the pay. All right. And it's like I either hire him for half the pay and get this thing done within the time frame I need to get it done, or I keep it pushing. Like, there's a lot to be learned in being self-employed, and going back to being an employee after being self-employed. The level of respect you got to earn, the level of respect you develop for yourself and for what you do in any situation is so different that you're not going to tolerate anything that even remotely speaks disrespect towards you. You're not going to allow yourself to be disrespected. So to the job, I don't play by the rules. You know what I mean? But again, you can guarantee the job is always going to get done. It's always going to get done right. There's not going to be any repeats on me. It's rare. All right. So I'm going to make sure I get everything done. I'm frustrated trying to educate some of these customers. You know? But my work is immaculate. I know that. My work is top tier. All right. That's not to diminish anyone else's work, but I know the value I bring. And that's just 2 areas of value. I know there's a lot more, but anyhow, that's beside the point. Yeah, it's hard to go back to, because one thing I'll never be able to do is have an employee mindset. Because, okay, I got supervisors. Yeah, but them supervisors also have supervisors. You know? So I know how it is. I've hired guys before who have also hired guys. And the guys at the bottom are subject to the responsibility of the guys I've hired. But hey, the guys I've hired are subject to the responsibility of me. You know? And if they frick up and they don't do their job, guess who's got to go back and fix it? Me. It's on me. And I've fricked up. I've had dudes frick up jobs and I've had to go back and fix them. I myself have fricked up jobs and had to go back and fix them. You know what I mean? That's what a person of integrity does. They don't walk away with the money, chucking up the deuces and leaving the person pissed. Sometimes I'll slouch in my chair. And it's so true. I heard Tony Robbins say this, like the posture you sit in, the posture you express, it can change how you think. Like it can change how you, my bad. It could change how you move. Sorry about that. Yeah. Cause I notice when I'm slouched in the chair, like, it's like I'm on chill mode. I really don't care to do anything. I really don't care to explain as detailably, as thoroughly. But when I sit up and my back is erect, and it's not even from sitting up, it's just when I realize I need to sit up and this is why, that's when things start to change. That's when I start to change. Shoot, it even happens with walking. Like when I'm walking, if I walk lazy, I start to naturally just embody everything associated with lazy. Lazy how I talk, lazy how I make decisions. When I start walking, like I got somewhere to be. I remember this lady one time, I was in public. She's like, I like the way you walk. You walk like a man with purpose. And I'm thinking, yeah, I wish I could do that all the time, but that's not me all the time. It felt good though in that moment. Like, you know what I mean? I want to have more of those moments. So I'm trying to be more cognizant. I'm trying to develop myself in those areas. You know what I mean? But I would never even be able to be cognizant if I hadn't took time to myself at times, stepped away so I can observe things about myself. Things I like, things I don't like. It's crazy how much you could learn about yourself from just spending time with yourself. Not trying to, it doesn't even matter, I'm not out here to please anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make this about self, but just the fact that I feel I need to make that announcement it's influence from external. It's influence from the external because that's not the direction I'm trying to think in, but it's like, as I'm speaking, I can hear scrutiny. I was telling somebody recently, we was talking about God, and I said, God is both internal and external, right? There's a God within that kind of, it's the natural feelings you feel towards moving. I believe God is a feeling, like a frequency, when you feel like how you naturally as an individual feel inclined to move, that's God within. Hey, I naturally feel like, I'd be random sometimes. Like recently I woke up. I'm not going to say why, because it involves other people and I don't want to, I don't want to piss nobody off, but it was like the night before I woke up, I was a little bit frustrated and I'm like, I'm going running in the morning. And I got up the next morning and I ran 10 miles. I was like no preparation, no plan as to run 10 miles. I was just like, I got to get this thing out of me, this frustration, this energy. And where the frick was I going with that? I got too deep into that. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get too deep into a point that I forget where I was going as a whole. Oh, yeah. That's where I was going. So, yeah, God within, like, to me, that's God within. You know, that's that idea, all those ideas, that spirit that compelled me to do something like that, because in doing that, it made my life better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's making my life better. Maybe not that one move, but if I compile a bunch of moves similar to that over time, you know, it's gonna make my life better. Ultimately, I'm gonna sleep better. I'm gonna have better health. I'm gonna, you know, better cardio. I'm gonna be able to do more. So that, to me, that's God within. I was telling somebody this recently. I said, and he was like, well, what about the God, you know, outside of you? And I said, well, God outside of you, again, to me, is everyone who tries to influence you, maybe known to themselves, maybe unbeknownst to themselves, but basically all the philosophy you get from outside of you. And it's not to say that it's all bad, just like it's not to say that everything that comes from within is all good. All things in moderation. Moderate, don't eliminate. I think that's the most profound principle. You know what I'm saying? Having balance, harmony. Harmony is peace. You know, but to some people, harmony is straddling the fence. Trying to be in the middle is straddling the fence. It's like, whoa, hold on. There's two perspectives to look at everything. You know? Because harmony, to me, that's peace. You don't have to agree. Nobody has to agree. That's what works for me. You know, that's how I naturally think. That's how I've retrained my mind to think. I want to think towards better, towards greater. I was telling my wife recently, we play this game on the phone, Monopoly Go, yo. The cell phone game. Hold on one second. I got to hit the vape pen. I got bad allergies. Anyhow, I was telling my wife recently, I said, yo, I like the way you think when you play the game, because you think like the billionaires. Like, billionaires, they keep moving forward. They're not thinking about revenge. They're not thinking about who pissed them off, because how she plays. So they got this feature in the game known as the shutdown. That's where it just pairs you up randomly with somebody on your leaderboard. It could be a friend. It could be a family member. It could be a random person. And you got the option to knock that person's property down, or attempt to knock that person's property down and steal their cash. They've also got the bank heist. They pair you up the same way. But see, the difference is, with the shutdown, you have a choice in that matter. You don't have a choice with the bank heist. You got a heist on them. You know, it's like, yo, I'm gonna need your business to make a deposit into my business at some point. Yeah, you got a heist on them. There's no choosing with that. But with the shutdowns, you do have freedom of choice. The way I play is eye for an eye. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you, and I'm gonna hit you. If you hit me 3 times in a row, I'm gonna hit you 7. Like, I'm a natural Scorpio, yo. That tail is always up, pointed. All right, scorpions, the creature, scorpion, the little insect, they move about in the shadows. They behind the scenes. They don't go freaking with nobody. They mind their own business. That's the same way I move. But my tail is always up. That tail is full of venom. Venom for me is negative thoughts. It's negative emotions. It's all that, like, all that heat, all that fury that a person who disrespects me will catch. So, yeah, you hit me, I'm going to hit you. That's how I play. But recently I've started playing more compassionate. I noticed. Kind of like my wife. So I won't hit people. I'm like, you know what? It is what it is, y'all. I ain't got time to be worried. If I see somebody I know, all right, random player, you know what I mean? I won't even go back. I'll go back and check the list sometimes, and I'll hit people from time to time. But like I said, more and more, I'm finding myself like not seeking revenge. It's some people I just hit just because I know they always got their shields down. And more often than not, they got their shields down. So if I've seen they've hit me, it's just business at that point. Yo, I got to get that cash up out of you. All right, nothing personal, but I got to get that cash. All right, so, but yeah, I've noticed that, you know, I'm playing more with more of her style. So I told her one time, I'm like, I like how you think. Yo, you think like the billionaires. Like you don't seek revenge. Like you're always moving forward. That's how she moves in her natural life. And, you know, that's more of who I'm trying to become. It's like somebody that moves naturally towards, like, they're not thinking about retribution. They're not thinking about, I got to get back at this person, because that's the mark of somebody at peace. Somebody who's truly moving in the direction of peace. You know, it's like, I don't need to get revenge. I don't need to spite you. It is what it is, yo. You know, keep it pushing. Going back to what I said earlier about, you know, people not freaking with you. Like, I realized it's vital for me to eliminate anyone from when I say eliminate, like, not, you know, take them off the face of the earth. What I mean is just, I can't have them in my life right now, yo. Like, you're not getting a phone call from me. You know, don't expect me to be here or come there or show up. Like, yeah, no disrespect, but mentally, you're not moving where I'm moving at this moment, you know, and I get it. Why people won't frick with me. It's the same thing for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you a cool dude and all, but I can't, in this season of your life, I can't frick with you, yo. That'll hinder my growth. I get it. You know, everybody's at a different place. And one thing I realized is people that's doing better than you, people that's truly doing better than you, are never shitting on you. You will never hear someone that's truly doing better than you shitting on you, because they're humbled for the position that they're in. They're humbled for everything that they have, and they know the work that it took to get there. So it's like, I am not trying to go back to that point. Yo, I will never make fun of somebody for being at that level. You know what I'm saying? Granted, I may not be able to frick with them. You know, I respect them, but I can't frick with them. I can't, like, they can't be part of my friend circle in this season just because it'll hinder my growth. You know what I mean? They might leech and sop my presence. I get it, yo. You know, so I've learned I can respect it now. When people don't frick with me, hey, I get it, yo. You know what I mean? I might be a hindrance to your growth, you know? Same way I am towards some people. I totally get it. So yeah, I'm gonna try something new with this. Like, I'm gonna title this one Unapologetically Me, because that's what it is. You know, you're not getting all of me. You know what I mean? I can't force myself to just put out everything, but I could put out something, you know? And I enjoy it. Like, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed speaking. I don't know that I'm gonna enjoy going back and listening, because for one, I got a stuffed nostril and I sound nasally. So I'm gonna be sounding fricked up, and I'm not gonna like the way I sound. But 2 years from now, I might be like, yo, I said some shit. Like, that was damn good, yo. Like, oh my gosh. But there's so much that I can talk about, and so much that I want to talk about. But I feel compelled right now. Like, my spirit is telling me, hey, stop talking, put this out now. Because if you don't do it now, you'll never do it. So I got to listen.